myCaribou is a channel optimization platform for medical device manufacturers and distributors that accelerates growth in markets around the world. For manufacturers, myCaribou provides insight into global markets and connects you with synergistic partners aligned with your channel strategies. By collaborating in myCaribou, you can increase channel visibility and accelerate growth around the world. For distributors, myCaribou allows you to search and source suppliers from around the world that complement your existing distribution portfolio and call points. With myCaribou, you and your suppliers can collaborate more effectively and accelerate sales results. Now let's have a look at the myCaribou platform from a distributor perspective. There are four key components to the myCaribou platform: market discovery to explore global markets, finding partners, workspaces for secure collaboration between manufacturers, distributors, and other partners, and lastly, dashboards to monitor, measure, and optimize channel performance for increased revenue. Before we get into these four components, let's have a look at the concept of a company profile first. The myCaribou platform has over 20,000 manufacturers and 20,000 distributors, and for each of these companies, we have a profile. As a distributor, you can come in, claim your profile, and update it so that it's accurate in myCaribou. The profile includes a description of your business, where you're based, how long you've been around, any certifications and registrations you might have. And then it also focuses in on which product categories do you sell and what are your call points. So do you sell into hospitals? Do you sell into long-term care facilities, et cetera, et cetera. You can edit that and update this profile so that it's accurate. Market discovery in myCaribou is predominantly focused for manufacturers to look at markets and understand those markets so they can enter those markets in a more knowledgeable fashion. I won't get into a lot of detail on this right now, but basically what can happen is in each of these markets, companies can drill into the market and learn about it from a healthcare expenditure and financing perspective, healthcare assets and employment, utilization, healthcare trends and indicators, and regulatory information. If a manufacturer was looking, for example, for a partner in Canada, if they explored channel strategies and partner options, they could choose their segments. They could decide what product categories they're looking for in terms of a distributor like yourself. Call points. So in this case, I'm going to try to find a distributor that has these call points in cardiac catheterization, surgery, cardiology, and coronary care units. And then if you're a national distributor or a regional distributor, it would help them select and find you. So for example, if they were looking for a regional distributor in a province in this case, it would also then give them some options around full line versus specialty, direct or indirect. And if they choose, in this particular case, specialty, it narrows the list down to 19 distributors in the Canadian market that are specialized, that are regional, focused on Ontario in this case, and they can start to explore these distributors as options. For you as a distributor, you could also find partners by looking through the Find Partner view. So for example, in this particular case, I did a search for wound care manufacturers, and I did that basically by selecting manufacturers. Now I looked in this particular case for Chinese manufacturers, and then the product category, I selected wound care, and it came up with 33 potential manufacturer partners for me as a distributor. So if I was looking for a manufacturing partner, I can do this any way I like in terms of, company types and markets and what product categories and call points they focus on. I could also start to narrow that down by how long they've been around, how many employees do they have, what certifications do they have, which would be important to me as a distributor. Each of these potential manufacturer partners for me can be accessed by clicking on the name of the company, which would display their profile. I can learn a little bit more about them. And if I'm interested in reaching out to this manufacturer, I could hit the connect button. I could explain why I want to connect with them, and I could hit the connect button. Once that's done, it would send an email notification to this company as well as an in-app notification, which would show up here. And they can decide what to do with that connection request with you. You could also click on the link here to look at the website for this particular partner to drill in further as well. Now let's talk a little bit about collaboration between distributors and manufacturers. So again, in my example, I'm actually logged in as a Swedish manufacturer. I've got a direct team in the Swedish market, and I have a workspace to manage that team here. In the UK market, I'm using two different distributors, XYZ and ScottCare, and I have a workspace to manage the relationship with each of these. So if you think about it from a manufacturer perspective, looking at global markets, they're going to have distributors in markets around the world, and they could manage those relationships through this view. A workspace, such as this one here between Global Cardio, the manufacturer, and XYZ distributor in the UK, is a place where you can securely collaborate between partners. So in this particular case, we've got a view of a dashboard, business plans, projects, discussion boards, calendar, and files. All of this is highly secure. It's just for you and the manufacturer in this case to manage your relationship together. So all shared files can reside here. So things like product sheets, sell sheets, even the contract between yourself and the manufacturer. The calendar is not intended to replace your personal calendar, but it is intended to show key dates between you and the manufacturer. So for example, you can see here, July 9th, we have an RFP due for NHS Wales for cardiostimulators. That's a key date that's going to show up in the manufacturer's calendar as well as in our calendar as a distributor. Discussion boards are intended to replace emails that go back and forth and get lost. So for example, there was a new cardiac catheter product line being launched by the manufacturer. So we have a discussion thread here between the manufacturer and the distributor going back and forth on this new product line. We also included a new sell sheet for the product line, and that sell sheet would roll up to our files view as well. Business plans are a place where you and the manufacturer can have scorecards as well as sales plans and then narrative plans as well. So for example, from a manufacturer perspective, as they looked at this UK market, they collaborated with the distributor to come up with the plan of attack for the UK market around, summary, the market opportunity, competitive and pricing analysis. Scorecards are intended to establish key objectives and metrics that we will manage the relationship together. Because the distributor and the manufacturer are doing this in one place together, we agree on these 4 objectives in this case, set targets by quarter. We can then track the actuals, target versus actual for each quarter. And we can also evaluate how we did from our perspective, from a distributor perspective, as well as from a manufacturer perspective each quarter. So for example, in this case, the manufacturer scored the first objective of 4 out of 4 and put in their comments. We scored it a 3 out of 5, and put in our comments as well. And you can see that for each of the 4 objectives. Now we have something to talk about in our quarterly business review as part of our overall discussion. The last piece for the business plans are sales forecasts. You can choose the level you want to do this at. In general, product categories and product lines would be the most common approach here. So I have cardio stimulators and catheters with 2 subproducts for each of those. We have quarterly revenue targets. We can also track actuals. So target actual by product, by quarter, as we move along. All of this data rolls up to your dashboard for the workspace, in this case between the distributor and the manufacturer. So this dashboard shows our sales forecast quarter over quarter, shows the key dates, the quarterly business review, the scorecard that we're managing towards, any recent activity, as well as who's actually collaborating together in this particular workspace. So from the manufacturer, there are 6 different people that have access to this workspace. And from the distributor, it's just one person in this case that's accessing the workspace. Now again, if you think about it from a distributor perspective, all of my supplier relationships will show up on my home page. So this is my home page. I'm managing 5 different relationships. And you can see those here. These are all workspaces. This is the one we were just in a minute ago. You can invite your suppliers into myCaribou very simply. So you could create a workspace and invite them. So for example, I could create a workspace like this and invite my partner to collaborate with me in that workspace. And now I'd have a sixth workspace here. Dashboards in myCaribou allow you to roll up all of your relationships across all of your suppliers. So for example, in this case, you'll see your sales forecast quarter by quarter. You can also see how you're performing on a partner by partner basis. So each of these would be a supplier, and we could see how we're performing supplier by supplier. It also rolls up recent activity and key dates across all of those partnerships for you in a single place. So to wrap up again, the key aspects, the key components of myCaribou are market discovery, finding partners, managing workspaces together where the distributor and the manufacturer can collaborate in one place, and then of course your dashboards to track results, drive performance, quarter over quarter, year over year.